My racist sister-in-law said something that I could never forgive. But I have a plan to get her fired and destroy her life. Am I the a-hole? I've been married to my wife for about 10 years, and we're a mixed race couple. I'm Asian and she's Caucasian. I've got along with her family, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, but I always felt like her father-in-law and other sister-in-law, Sarah, never really liked me. I'm a professional trained chef with 15 plus years of experience, and I work at a high-end Chinese restaurant, a spin-off of a popular one in Beijing in a large US city. My crew and I have won several awards, and I've been explicitly told I'll be the next executive chef. Sarah is also a professionally trained chef. What is this family? She constantly brags about it and, no joke, compares herself out loud to Ramsay and Bourdain. Whenever I'm at my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house and helping out in the kitchen, Sarah is always criticizing everything I do. Whether it's chopping, braising, marinating, etc., she always butts in the comments and is like,
I think you should actually do X like this.
I'm impatient for my wife and sidestepping those comments, saying things like, thanks, but I'll stick to the way I do it. Things came to a head 2 weeks ago when my wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, and I were in her parents' kitchen prepping dinner for my mother-in-law's birthday. We were running a bit behind, so things were heated.
Oh, God.
Which I kind of like because it reminded me of work. And that's when Sarah walked in. She took one look at what I was doing, scoffed, and said something like,
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's not the right way of doing things.
it hit a nerve, and I pretty sternly told her to stop criticizing my cooking and that I'm also a chef like her. She laughed and said,
Making Kung Pao chicken at some Chinese restaurant doesn't count.
Lady!
the kitchen
God.
went silent. Father-in-law snorted/chuckled, and my mother-in-law yelled, Sarah, what the hell is wrong with you? I stopped what I was doing, swore at her, and called her a racist piece of shit. Apologized to my mother-in-law for not being able to stay and left for home with my wife. Apparently, this caused a massive fight after we left, with my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, other sister-in-law taking my side, and father-in-law Sarah saying it was a joke but kind of true, and that I was being too sensitive. The extended family somehow got wind of this, and now everyone is arguing and taking sides. We love it. We're going to take sides too. With my wife even getting texts from some of her cousins apologizing for Sarah's behavior. Despite being on my side, my wife is begging me to apologize so that the fighting will stop, but I refuse because Sarah and her blatant racism. So, am I the a-hole? There is an update.
Oh.
But first, I want you to tippy tap on your keyboards and tell me, is OP the a-hole? John, quickly now, before we go into the update, is OP the a-hole?
Absolutely not. OP laying down the law, which, like, shout out to you, OP. And, like, high key, OP has just been dealing with it, like, all the small comments.
Not an isolated incident.
It's not an isolated incident. And this is your profession. Like, hey, if someone, well, actually, I love when people hate me, but that's beside the fact.
John
I'm a weirdo.
Gets off.
Yeah.
At your hate comments.
Gets
He's like,
my rocks
degrade
off.
me.
But like literally to someone who's like clearly dedicated themselves to the craft of like making food and just like, you know, it would so get under my skin and infuriate me. And then add that comment on top of it. I'm going ballistic.
So there's an update. Oh, wow. My wife has also informed me that now Sarah may be in trouble at work and she's blaming me for it. Apparently, one of her coworkers heard her rant about what happened and reported it to management. Edit 2. So it looks like one of my wife's cousins found this post and put it on Sarah's Facebook wall saying, this is you, right? Her Facebook friends are starting to comment things like, if this is you, Sarah, then I'm disappointed. Oh. I think Sarah is still at work. She might be hitting the fan soon. And now my wife is pissed too. We'll try to update, but might have to delete posts if things go nuclear. Edit 3. Was considering removing, but I just got a voicemail from my father-in-law that my presence was only being tolerated up until this point and threatened a world of hurt if I didn't delete this post. Officially going to keep it up now. And if you're still reading this, Doug, I'm very disappointed in you. You're better than this.
Whoa, talk about showing your true colors.
I love how she's like calling out by name. Fucking Doug. My wife got a call from sister-in-law. From wife's paraphrasing, Sarah started screaming, crying at her the moment my wife picked up and said that she just got demoted because of her Asian slur husband.
You continue to be dumb and racist.
Apparently, some of her coworkers have her on Facebook and showed the post to management, which combined with an earlier rant, double whammied her back to being a line cook, and now she might get fired. My wife told her to go F herself and is now solidly on my side after taking the verbal abuse from Sarah and reading some of the comments here. My wife is still the opposite of happy though. 2, wife called mother-in-law asking her what the F was going on with father-in-law. Mother-in-law was confused, so my wife played back the voicemail I had on my phone, and apparently my mother-in-law literally just walked away from the phone without hanging up and started screaming at father-in-law.
Hey, let's go. Okay.
3, Facebook post has now devolved into a cluster frick flame war with family and friends jumping in. Suffice to say, this has officially gone nuclear, but there's a little bit more.
Oh my God. What more is there?
So this says is titled Father-in-Law, aka Doug. Apparently, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were already having trouble in their marriage, and it was only made worse with a certain 2016 presidential election. She's a Democrat, and he had apparently gone more far right since then. Seems that a line was crossed with the Kung Pao incident and his voicemail. When he refused to apologize for anything, typical Doug, she asked for a divorce, and he went berserk. She didn't feel safe, so that's when she came over. But there's even more, John.
Oh my God.
So this is the fallout from the extended family. You may have been able to tell already, but the extended family was largely arguing, fighting, divided along political lines for a few years now, and my cousin's Facebook post was likely just the light that set off the powder keg. According to my mother-in-law, the fallout has allegedly already led to some breakups, excommunication of some family members, and even an argument that ended in police involvement. And then finally, the fallout for Sarah and sister-in-law.
Tell me.
According to my mother-in-law, Sarah came over to her place on Friday. The writing on the wall was that she was basically forced to quit. Despite her trying to start from scratch as a line cook, the entire staff turned against her. Nothing was coming back from the dish pit for her, and she was getting the cold shoulder. She's a great chef. I will admit this is true, but they took no chances since it turns out, they're partly owned by a Chinese investment company.
Come on.
Found this hard to believe and didn't want to add this detail, but it turned out to be true after some research. Word also got out around the local industry, and Sarah is essentially blacklisted from high-end establishments. She's going to be only working at McDonald's as a fry cook.
That's right.
She's now considering selling her home and moving to find work. As much as I don't like her and found her behavior horrifying, I didn't intend this to happen. So I've reached out to some buds in other states to see if they have any openings. Whether or not she wants to take it is up to her. And no, she has not apologized for anything. It sure as hell doesn't feel like a happy ending, perhaps bittersweet justice, but that's all I can give you. Thank you for your support, and thank you for reading.
Wow. Talk about a chain reaction.
Nuclear. And just like, it was like the explosion that kept exploding.
Yeah, right?
And just like you thought it was already imploding, and then it just went.
You thought one nuke was bad. Done. It set off the nuke factory.
So, knowing what you know, is OP the a-hole?
No. I almost said absolutely.
Absolutely. John, loves racism.
Absolutely not the a-hole. And I think this is an interesting question for everyone out there is, did the sister-in-law deserve to be fired?
She never apologized. I think if she made that one joke, and then said, "Hey, I'm really sorry for my actions, didn't mean to. It was a dumb mistake, and I'm really sorry for it," I don't think she deserved everything she got.
Exactly.
But the fact that she continued to hold that racist ideology, and it seems like continue to spread it, I think she deserves it.
Going back to the original joke, like there's like joking with like the intent of just trying to be funny and just trying to like whatever, like
but this is insulting.
It's
not a joke. It's like it
was a true insult. Yeah. It was a true insult, right?
I think also something that might be interesting is like it seems like this family is divided along political lines. I wonder if anyone has had any familial fallout because of politics or because of like racism or anything like that. We'd love to hear some of those stories, especially, I mean, one, we got an election cycle coming up.
This is true.
Let's get a whole new world of Thanksgiving conversations.
Oh my goodness.
But we'd love to hear like what are some of those dynamics in your families from some of the politic stuff that's been going on. I cheated and lied to win a brand new car on a game show, and it was so my idiot contestants would get nothing. Am I the a-hole?
Give those idiots what they deserve.
You don't get a car. You don't get a car. You don't get a car.
Anti-Oprah.
This is a hot topic in my family at the moment. I live on an obscure little island near the UK. We have a local quiz show that's aired on television, or telly as OP says it, that I appeared on a few years ago. The premise of the show is that you can win prizes for doing challenges. Some of the challenges were physical, some psychological, and some requiring problem-solving skills. I sailed through a lot of the physical parts because I wasn't a fat bastard back then, and the problem-solving skills required a lot of maths, which is my career. So I was okay there. As for the psychological part, you had to enter a clear box room filled with something you're terrified of and search through to find clues to the next part. So like kind of a little fear factor.
That's right.
I thought of a believable lie before I entered the show. We had to list 5 things we were afraid of, and I put down all things I'm not scared of. I listed spiders, cockroaches, snakes, scorpions, and woodlice. I literally couldn't care less about any of these creatures. I grew up in a rural landscape, and I've had to pretty much deal with creepy crawlies my entire life, so it's not an issue. OP is a freaking badass.
Ooh.
My actual fear is a bit more obscure, and I really honestly knew I'd fail if I was put in a room with it. My ex. No. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
When I entered the room, there were cockroaches everywhere. I was in my boxers and barefoot, which was incredibly gross, I can't lie, and had to sift through and move cockroaches to find clues for my next challenge. I did it in the time period ascribed to me and got through the next part. The rest of the contestants failed.
Ooh.
Now, I want a pretty average car, which I don't particularly want. So as soon as I legally could, I sold it and made a nice little profit since it was pretty much brand new.
Oh,
and
wow.
then I bought myself a rather nice car. I told my family this recently on a drunken night when we were all together. And although everybody found it uproariously funny, my family are split into 2 camps. Some people think I cheated and was ethically and morally wrong. And other people think the other contestants deserve to lose if they listed their actual fears. I'm obviously in the latter category, but generally wonder what other people think. So, am I the asshole about lying about my fears on a game show so I could win a brand new car? I want to know what you guys think in the comments right now. Tell us, would you lie on that game show? And have you ever been on a game show and have you ever lied? But John, what do you think? Would be the a-hole or not?
I like it because here's how I'm thinking about it, right? It's a game show, you know. It's
come on, what are the stakes?
It's entertainment, you know, at the end of the day. So it's like if you can kind of like game the game shows, then great. I actually know someone who, when he was 18, he basically like studied the formats of all of the popular game shows and basically came up with a formula to like win all of them. And he just like Wheel of Fortune, like all of them. He just went in a circuit and just like won all of them. He's written about it on LinkedIn and stuff. He like started and sold the company and all that stuff. Yeah.
That's so sick.
It was a really interesting thing to do.
So, I mean, I guess you can game the system. I say OP, not the a-hole.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, if you can game the game shows, then you know, it's like, you know, if the casino's rigged against you, rig against the casino.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
But I would love to know if anyone has ever gamed a game show or what is your go-to strategy for your favorite game?
I like that.
Type in the comments below.
See you next time.